Hello, Central Texas. I'm here with somebody we all know very well. It's Mr. Drake Toll. We're the Savannah Party Animals. Now, Drake, I guess just to start off, how did that come about? Because like one minute you were here and the next you were driving out to Savannah.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's how I feel right now. It feels like yesterday I was still sitting at ESPN Central Texas alongside Cameron Stewart and Matt Mosley, and then within what felt like 48 hours, I was in Savannah, Georgia, in a fur coat, getting flour and hot sauce drenched all over me because that's the day to day with the Savannah Bananas and the Party Animals, and really this whole organization of Banana Ball. But at the time, I was doing play-by-play with China Spring and then hosting a show at ESPN Central Texas. And I wasn't job searching, but I had a hiring director reach out to me from Fayetteville, Arkansas, close to home, said, "Hey, do you want to be a program director? We'll double your salary. We'll bring you up here. You'll be a major voice of the University of Arkansas." And that was a huge deal for the young kid who wore the Razorback hat, from the age of 3. So I called back, said absolutely. I interviewed for the job, accepted the job, and said, "Hey, the only thing I have this podcast on the side called Locked On Big 12. Can I still do it?" The guy goes, "Yeah, maybe. We'll get back to you on that." It takes them 2 months. In the span of that 2 months, same hiring director calls and says, "Look, the Savannah Bananas are looking for a guy to do play-by-play for their auxiliary team, the Party Animals, who are expanding their season and going to have their own headline tour. Would you like to apply?" I was like, I'll never get it. There'll be 500 applicants and I'll get buried down to the bottom of the list, but sure. So I made like a fake quasi reel of me announcing the Savannah Bananas game. Submitted it, and within 48 hours, I'd gotten a video message from Jesse Cole, the guy in the yellow tuxedo who owns the organization, saying, "We want to talk to you." It was a month-long interview process with like 5 different stages and a bunch of weird random stuff. Like, their hiring process is so different. I showed up to my first interview in a full suit. I turned the Zoom call off, citing Wi-Fi issues. And when I popped it back on, I was shirtless with a puffer vest on with pit vipers and a beer in my hand. And the Jesse goes, "That's not a beer, is it?" And I was like, "Oh, shoot, I just cost myself this job." And my response was, "Jesse, it's your quote from your book. Whatever's normal, do the opposite." And I think that was the moment. It was like, uh-oh, we might be onto something here. And lo and behold, they invited me out to Savannah in mid-January. The day that I flew, the week that I flew out from Waco to Savannah, I get a call from Fayetteville. And that call is, "Hey, congrats. We worked it all out. You've got the job. You're our radio guy here." And I had to break the news to them that I was accepting a position that week with the Savannah Bananas. And the guy was like, "You know what? I get it. I get it." And to this day, they haven't filled that job in Fayetteville. Oops. And I was off to Savannah. And within my first month, we were in Tampa Bay, Florida, and I was shaking John Cena's hand, and my life has not been the same yet.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I'm surprised that you're doing something like this. You've always had that kind of personality. I have there been any challenges for you in terms of like you're putting on a performance all the time, right? Like as opposed to sure when you're calling a game, you're performing,
Right.
but it's more, the game is the game and you're making your observations as opposed to when you're basically entertaining people
Yeah.
who are at the party animals.
I always felt like in high school football, especially, and even high school baseball, any high school broadcast, there is a great mix between journalistic integrity and entertainment. I wanted to have those two things. I think that a high school audience should be entertained as if they're listening to a high school broadcast. It shouldn't feel like Game 7 of the World Series. It should feel like they're listening to their grandson's game or they're watching their grandson's game. I wholeheartedly believe that. So that was the keen mixture that I got to bring to China Spring and the Waco area. Whereas here, there really is no journalistic aspect. It is more so, hey, we need you from the baseline to entertain. If that is chugging a beer on the broadcast, great. What we want is 2 hours of really captivating content that people get a different viewing experience for sports. So the earliest challenge was to throw away a spotter board or throw away the way that I take notes and do notes, because I might be lucky to have a one-sheeter in front of me that gives me something about a guy. Even stats have been pretty bare bones and baseline. So that aspect, the journalistic side of play-by-play, has by and large gone away to pump up the entertainment side. Is that a bad thing? In Banana Ball, no. People want to be engaged by the guy who's on stilts or the guy who does a backflip catch or the guy who comes up and sings while he's on the mound for 15,000 people. So it's my job to now pump that up more so than actually talk about a guy's history or lore. At the same time, we have a guy on the Party Animals named Jake Skoll, who was the 15th overall pick, the Texas Rangers in 2010. we do add those nuggets in to legitimize the sport of banana ball. It's a keen mixture of entertainment as well as legitimization. That's a word. And with that, I had to completely alter everything I've ever done in sports media. But as you said, I've always had that entertainment bone. I've always wanted a little bit more edgy to push the edge on where media is going. And this job allows me to do that every day.
And I imagine the working hours are kind of crazy. I mean, you're training with the team, and like you just mentioned before we started recording, you had to fly back to Savannah from Boston.
Yeah.
So just how are you handling all of that?
The travel has been wild. I probably spent 2 days out of the week in Savannah. We had a 57-day stretch where we didn't play a home game. So we'd go Fresno, Sacramento, to Oklahoma City, to Columbus, to Durham, to Tampa, and the list goes on of the cities we visit. It's over 30. So I've had to adjust entirely the way that I see an off day. I mean, my off day might be an airport day. I might sleep on an airplane, sleep in an airport. I make it a Monday off. My Monday might be my Saturday that week. However, my Saturday was filled with 15,000 fans that showed up to watch a game, and we get to cater to them and have an awesome weekend with folks from across the country. So my entire schedule, like the 9 to 5 that I had known and loved, gone out the window. And as you know, in media, in sports media especially, there are no true hours. And a full-time job likely means 80 hours of your week are occupied somehow by your job. So for me, it is almost constant that I'm thinking about my work, though it's tough to consider it work when I'll give you an example. I'm in Columbus, Ohio 3 weeks ago. And for the first time, I looked around myself and thought, I am tired. I am just tired. Then I remembered there is a 2.7 million person wait list to get tickets to our games. There's a person who's in the stands for the first time in 3 years. They've tried to get tickets for those 3 years. They will not come see us again for 5 years because they still won't get tickets. That fam, I have to be on my game for them. That kind of keeps you going.
Right. That kind of leads into this next thing of what is it about this organization, about what they do, bringing this kind of entertainment to the field that you feel gets so many people in the stands. I mean, you've got sold out shows at Minute Maid, at Fenway, in Tampa, and all these places. So just what's so engaging about it?
The merge between entertainment and sports is impeccable. And this organization is fans first, period. That is the number one thing. That it's literally called Fans First Entertainment, is the parent company that's over the Party Animals, the Bananas, and the Firefighters. So our goal is to always cater to the fan in everything that we do. I mean, attention to detail down to the very minute pieces of our show. That is huge. I mean, a lot of times fans won't recognize that level of detail that's put into each show. I really 2.7 million people is tough to wrap my head around, right? What are we doing so well that 2.7 million people are on a wait list? I think the answer to that is fun. We are college baseball. We see it all the time. We're killing fun. Let's try to keep things as traditional as possible. And I understand there is, and I've worked on Cape Cod. I get it. Last great game and how to keep the youth baseball is down 20% between 2019 and 2024. Kids don't want to play the game anymore because we took fun out of baseball somewhere down the line. What banana ball does is it adds fun back into baseball. It loosens the rule. And when guys get here to play, they remember what they enjoyed about the baseball field. And to me, the reason that I love it, the reason that I would buy a ticket to every single one of these shows, I get to see a guy do a backflip in center field while also watching a top 15 overall draft pick. The talent is there. The AAA level guys are there. The professional innings are on our pitching staffs. You're watching very, very quality baseball mixed into a new sport called banana ball with guys who are putting the fans first by entertaining always.
I guess how do you get those quality baseball things that we all know, right? Like I think I was just watching a video of a guy just absolutely laying out in center field, and then or like catching a ball behind your back, something like that. These guys have talent. They've played baseball their lives, but how do you integrate that with the dancing and the backflips and the singing and the play wrestling and stuff like that?
I've never used this quote publicly, and I'm not sure if I should, but this is how I usually put it to guys. We had another guy in our broadcast department. We're sitting around, we're going, hey, we got this new pitcher. He's kind of nervous. It's his first weekend of banana ball. In college, he went undefeated. He never lost. He was stupid good. Let's mic him up and make him eat hot sauce. And we all around the room were like, yeah, but it's his debut. Do we make him eat the hot sauce? It's going to throw him off his game. And one of the guys goes, well, if he doesn't want to do it, send him to indie ball. Don't play here. I thought, that's a great point. If you're a spectacular baseball player who does not want to sing and dance, don't play for the Bananas. We're not going to beg you. There have been some really talented athletes who have called us who don't have the entertainment piece. When you do have AAA players beating your door down who can sing or are willing to dance and can bring that aspect, those are the guys you pluck from. Banana Ball has gotten to the point where it's big enough to be selective in who they bring on. Oh, you have 4 years of major league experience, but you're too cool for school. Great. The sport doesn't need that guy. And it might sound aggressive to say that, but that's okay. There's a place in baseball for them. Great quote from my boss, Jesse Cole. We are not trying to kill baseball. We want to grow the game in new experimental ways. We are not trying to kill off that 4-year major league vet's career. We would rather take the guy who's 23 out of Northern Kentucky who has a theater background and is damn good at baseball and also wants to sing and dance. That guy's going to add more to us than the dude who refuses to move his left foot over his right foot.
I guess just how much does, being confident in yourself and being willing to put yourself in a position to be maybe laughed at or mocked or stuff, like how much does that play into being able to go into an environment like that?
It's huge. Very early on, when we first established that I was going to wear a fur coat, I thought, oh, that's funny. I didn't realize the true persona that gives. It's not that it's like it overtakes you. So I have always made fun of guys that wear necklaces or bracelets or are, out there in that way. And now my whole arm's covered in Taylor Swift friendship bracelets that fans have taken time to put, my name on or put bead by bead with the understanding they were going to give it to me. Like I've made an impact on them without meeting them. That's so cool. The necklaces, same deal. Some fans decided, hey, I want to give this guy a necklace because I've impacted them in some way. And now if I'm going to the bar, if I'm at the airport, if I'm at church, I don't take these off. If somebody sees these and they judge me from a distance, I'm completely comfortable with that. I had to learn to become comfortable with the extreme uncomfortable that Banana Ball puts you in. When they say, hey, we need you to do this dance. We need you to learn this script. We need you to act in this way. It's always a yes and a passionate yes because it's going to make some fan happy. Somebody might point and laugh. I've got a bunch of high school buddies, college buddies that don't get it. I might never get a girlfriend again because I sing and dance and wear friendship bracelets. But I'm okay with that because I know the impact it makes on at least one person. And maybe my favorite organizational mission that we have is do for one what you wish you could do for many. If there are 15,000 people there, I can't impact all 15,000. But if I can impact one person, I've done my job.
How much do you sweat under that romper?
I've learned to not sweat as much. My first few shows when we were in Tampa, it was so hot. It was the first week. It was so hot in February. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this the rest of the year. The coats don't all smell great. I'm going to need to get those dry cleaned sooner than later. The romper actually helps. It's fairly breathable, which is nice. We have a team stylist, and she has been so key. I can call her and say, Stella, I'm dying. And she'll figure out a way to make my outfit a little more conducive to the hot Savannah, Georgia weather. I sweat a lot less now. I drink a ton of water on game day. I eat a ton. I snack a ton. And it's only getting hotter outside, which is not good. But I think for now, I'm not going to have a heat stroke. Knock on my fake wooden IKEA desk.
You're calling baseball games from the dugout, which I assume has got to be one of the most exciting things. How did y'all come up with that idea, and what's been, I guess, one of your favorite moments of sitting with, because it's a different experience sitting with the guys down on the field than it is when you're up in the press booth.
Absolutely. I'm a part of the action. DJ, you'll get this. Anybody in Central Texas will get this. when you go to a West baseball game, a Lorena baseball game, a Robinson baseball game, you want to sit in the stands. Sitting in the press box is cool. Riding the press box is cool. But when you're in the middle of the moms and the dads and the rattlers and the noisemakers, that is awesome. When you're radio broadcasting a high school baseball game in Texas, you get the full effect of the crowd behind you. What if we did that with 15,000 people instead of 500 people? That's what the goal of the Dugout broadcast is, to bring you to the stands, to bring you to the team, and give you, the viewer at home, the immersive experience of what it's like to be in the stadium. That idea was very early, actually, in the interview process before I actually got the job, where Jesse said, hey, what could we do that's almost Manning cast like? And I said, what if we just put the broadcast desk on the field in the dugout? And it sounded very impractical, still is. We decided to do it. And it's created some just awesome moments of, guy hits my favorite moment of the dugout broadcast. Dustin Baber, our second baseman, hits his first career home run in banana ball after Holly Holm had walked him up to the plate. After he hits the home run, he runs straight to me because I'm on the field, puts the headset on. Holly Holm, a UFC legend, also puts a headset on, and we have a 3-team interview right there as he is still out of breath from pimping his first shot, and she is still just like, punch him in the chest because this guy just nailed his first home run. And I got to be a part of the moment because I was in the moment. I was right there. In the broadcast booth, you don't get that. You can't just mic the guy up here real quick. And if you do, the sideline reporter's got him. No, I got to have, as the play-by-play guy, instant access to one of my favorite moments in this sports history.
How much do you get to know the guys? Like, I assume in order to be able to interview them in this kind of way, you're not, interacting with them in the way that you would like when you were here calling China Spring or even calling games at Baylor. It's definitely different. So just what are their personalities like, and that has made this a lot more fun,
I love that question. When it comes to China Spring, I always felt as though my relationship with Tyler Beatty or any of the Bell family or Josh Gregory was super tight knit. And a lot of times those were phone calls and Zoom calls. On the road, I'm on 7-hour bus rides with these guys. I'm on 10-hour travel days in airports with these guys. So I get to see the everyday from each of the Party Animals players. The one thing that I'm shocked sets them apart from the Bananas so much is the amount they party. Game's over. It's like, all right, boys, we're going to go grab a couple beers. They embody the Party Animals vibe. And to me, that's how I get to know the intricate stories and the character of each of these guys is by post-game, pre-game, whenever, airports, going out, grabbing a beer. And how often as a play-by-play guy do you get to live with the players? That is, in essence, what I'm doing every weekend in these hotels and airports. So sharing some brews post-game with the guys, you get to know a whole lot of crazy stories real fast, and you get to know which ones you can and cannot share on the broadcast. But now at this point, I am blown away by how party-centric the Party Animals actually are on and off the field.
The identity between all these teams, like the Bananas and the Party Animals, and I guess now the Firefighters, they all seem to be their own brands. I guess just how much does that, help in terms of putting on, this entertainment and people can be fans of this team versus that team, finding their own thing, basically.
It grows the sport so much. We played Fenway Park last week, and the Party Animals put up 12 runs in a 4-1 win over the Bananas. That is massive for the sport. 38,000 people showed up to Fenway expecting the Bananas to win, and the Party Animals walked away with a blowout. At that point, everyone looks around and says, oh, this isn't scripted. There are legit players on both sides that are trying to win every game they play. When that is your format, the only place you can go, when there's a competitive nature, when there are stakes, you can grow. The Harlem Globetrotters and the Generals, there was one outcome. The Globetrotters were going to win every time, whether you saw them in 1986 or 2006. The Bananas, you might go to 5 Banana shows and never see them win. So the distinct personalities of the Party Animals, Bananas, and Firefighters are elevated by the level of competition that each brings to the table. The entertainment side's great, and I can touch on that, but I first want to make very clear to folks who didn't know, they're not rigged. Party Animals win as much as the Bananas do, and actually won the tour last year, beat the Bananas more often than they lost. Then as far as the entertainment side goes, it makes it very easy in the midweek for us as we build over the top moments. I mean, when you see a viral TikTok, that was a meeting between broadcast, creative, marketing, entertainment. We all get together and say, hey, what can we do this week that would go viral? What are trends? What is new? What trends can we set? And the firefighters having their distinct brand, we can have this bucket over here, this branch over here. We talk only firefighters. Oh, party animals. Here we can do this. A surprise party, a pinata. We could have a cocktail party. The Bananas, we could do this. They're the good old classic American boys. We can put together a baby race. Those help you separate out what entertainment goes where and how to make each team their own exclusive piece in Banana Ball.
Right. In our job and I guess industry, we're kind of conditioned to always think of what's next. What are we going to do next? Where are we going to go? 2-year contracts, 3-year contracts. You're with this organization for this long and you're looking for that next thing. I guess where you are right now, have you thought about how this is going to open up opportunities for other jobs in the future?
I had a conversation with someone in our social media department 2 weeks ago, and he said, yeah, I'm probably 2 or 3 years out from looking for a new job. And I thought, imagine having Savannah Banansas 6 years experience on your resume trying to get a social media job in sports. That unlocks every door there is. It is the most followed sports organization in the country at the professional level. So the door that it opens for that guy is massive. And I am very confident in 5 years, 10 years, when I do search for a new job, having Party Animals, Bananas, Fans First Entertainment on my resume will elevate my career to the highest level possible. I feel as though I've expedited the process. I signed the Green Monster last week at 23 years old. There are reporters, broadcasters who will go 40 years dreaming of doing that and retire before they get the opportunity. I got to do it at 23 because of how Banana Ball has grown already. I cut in line here. There's no reason for me to already want to get out. Though the day that I do, I'm very confident that this job is going to put me in a solid spot.
Right. And I guess that kind of leads me to my last question was just, you're getting to do all these cool things, signing the Green Monster at Fenway, traveling with this team, meeting all of these really cool people. He told me you shake John Cena's hand when you first started and your life hasn't been the same. If you could talk to the you that was calling baseball and basketball games and football games in Valonia, Arkansas, I guess, what would you tell them?
Lose the accent. Get better. Stop. Just stop. Man, I actually put a video together this week that's kind of a sentimental piece looking back at where I started. And I would tell 17-year-old me to keep going and do exactly what you're doing. I did not have a single night off in high school broadcasting 12 sports and over 100 games my senior year. Wouldn't change that. Wouldn't trade that for the world. I would, for me in college, I would say keep doing what you're doing. Keep trying new jobs. Keep trying new things. Don't be afraid to upset people. Don't be afraid to make people mad. Don't be afraid to make enemies when you're following your dreams. And I think who I really want to talk to is me 10 months ago. Walking into the ESPN Central Texas office, I looked at a guy like JD Piquel and a couple other members of Waco media that are now off doing unbelievable things in sports. And I thought, I sat at a desk with that person. I worked with that person. Will I ever get my opportunity? I've always been so excited to bring people along. Or when I worked on Cape Cod, I brought 3 interns with me to build a great media team up there. And for Cameron Stewart, I remember the day that he called me. It's like, hey man, is there an opening? We worked at Waco tours together before we got a job with each other at China Spring and ESPN Central Texas. And I kept thinking, I wonder if there's a day where I'll look around and think, I did it. I feel as though like I have cut in line, expedited the process, and gotten where I want to be. And so to that guy 10 months ago that's thinking, will my day ever come? Am I stuck forever in the same spot? And am I okay with that? I would tell him, just buckle up. Just buckle up because things are about to get absolutely crazy. I had wrapped my head around staying in China Spring for the rest of my life, even working at the school district, and I would have loved that more than anything. but I still wouldn't trade my current job for the world. Again, 10 months ago, I didn't know what my career direction was going to be. And today I would just tell that guy to calm down and get ready.
Yeah, well, I've known you since you were a freshman. So we started at the Lariat together.
Don't feed the bears.
Don't feed the bears.
Yeah.
And I gotta say that I'm very impressed with the direction that you've taken your career in. And it's been a pleasure getting to watch that and working with you and following your journey. It's definitely something that I'm very proud of as somebody who I hope you consider a friend. And
mentor. I would consider you mentor. You were there from day one, editing my volleyball articles.
Yeah, but I just wanted to tell you that because I'm very proud of you, dude, and I'm so excited to see what you continue to do and how you continue to grow yourself as a person and as a media personality. So thank you so much for talking with me today.
Yeah, absolutely, DJ. Thank you for your influence from day one since I was a freshman, for keeping me level. And I have such an affinity and appreciation for you and the journalistic work that you do, and the articles that you write about small town high school kids that might be read by 50 people, but those 50 people are the kids, are the families. They're the ones that they impact. When we talk about do for one what you wish you could do for many, there's a difference in writing an article about a 6-man football team and Midway, but you're still there to do either with the same attitude. And it goes such a long way for the people who are included in those, print those out and have them in the scrapbook forever. And your name's going to be on that. I could not be more proud of people like you that make Waco sports media what it is.
Well, I'm gonna let you go, do your thing. And hopefully I get to talk to you again soon.
Party on, DJ. I'll see you later.
All right, see ya.